Thank you for joining me. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields. A big area of rain. We've been seeing that near Jamaica, right up through the Turks and Caicos. I've been watching the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba. Also some of that rain that's been near Trinidad and Tobago. We've had some flooding in some spots and watching near Nicaragua, the islands off the coast of Nicaragua, the Colombian islands, for that chance of some development, tropical development in here as we work our way into December, which is not very typical, but this year has been anything but typical, as we well know together. So I want to show you how a tropical storm could develop. It's not likely, but it is possible. But in the short term, this is the concern. The flooding risk only gets higher. And I want to go long term. And you see how it's active right now? In this area here, these brighter colors, that's where we have a lot of rain. This is going to continue. This pattern's not going anywhere for the end of the month, right into next month. Now, as far as tropical development is concerned, look at some of the brighter colors showing up. This is where the European model is saying, hey, some sort of tropical cyclone, which is a tropical system, could develop. Now, you see a spot up here for us in Canada. That's not going to be tropical in nature. What this does, this is kind of behind the scenes stuff, but I like to show everything. It tries to find where something's really going to be spinning and something will try to develop either tropically or not tropically, but it's this area right here. Not so much the area near the Turks and Caicos, but more so as we get down through the parts of the southwestern sections of the Caribbean where we could see some of that development. So here's a look at the rain, though, in the short term. Let's start with this. Across Jamaica, some of these whites, blacks, red shadings, 3-day rain totals could exceed 150 millimeters of rain or 6 inches of rain. Not for all of us, but let me know where you are, especially Kingston, or kind of our eastern end. That's where we're going to see a better chance of some of those higher totals. Watching out for the flooding. So put your location and what you have or don't have in the comments. We'll be going through that together as we go throughout the day. Now, as we work our way back toward Haiti in the Dominican Republic, as I showed you yesterday, I was saying these rain totals look a little bit underdone. They look, this is a model, so the model is showing, hey, we could get some spots, or look at the blue, 25 millimeters of rain or an inch of rain. That is underdone. That is too low. I don't just look at the models. A lot of this action that's near Jamaica is going to be pulling into Haiti and the Dominican Republic, so it is more likely that we get totals over 75 millimeters of rain or 3 inches of rain. Be mindful of those river crossings, especially that big one near Jacmel, south side as you get toward Jacmel, out toward Boston Blue. We're talking about some higher rain totals the next few days. That could lead to some dangerous river crossings. Same thing as we head toward the Dominican Republic. Best chance will be in our southern sections near Santo Domingo of getting some of the heavier rain. Now, as far as tropical, I'll show you the models in a second. As far as tropical development is concerned, the American model, which is the GFS, still shows this area trying to develop into a tropical storm once we get into early next month. The European model doesn't have it becoming a tropical storm, but I showed you that map earlier. It says there's still a chance of that. The Canadian ICON models don't have it a storm, although the ICON model is kind of hinting at a tropical depression forming in this area. So all of the models are kind of seeing something. They're seeing the rain and at least that possibility of something trying to develop. Water temperature is still warm, 29 to about 30 degrees throughout much of the Caribbean. That's right around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So very, very warm in some spots. Other spots have cooled off a little bit. Especially back toward the Gulf of Mexico, where those water temperatures have really dropped with those fronts that have been moving by. But the water temperatures in the Caribbean still conducive for development. Can't rule out that Tony does develop in the Caribbean. That is the next name on the list. After that, Valerie and William. Hopefully, we don't have any more named storms. Now, hurricane season ends at the end of this month, but with that said, if there's a named storm in December, we still use the list of this year. Once we hit January 1st, the new year, we flip over to the new list of names, the 2025 list of names. Now, here's what's going on. Let me show you the American model and then the European model, kind of tie them together. Short term, that rain from Colombia stretching up toward Jamaica, near Haiti, eastern Cuba, Turks and Caicos, parts of the southern Bahamas, that big surge of rain. And then for us in the eastern Caribbean, some rounds of rain. But as we go over the next few days, it is going to pick up starting tomorrow. Look near Barbados, down through Trinidad and Tobago, St. Vincent of the Grenadines, Grenada, St. Lucia. Increased rain for tomorrow and still that batch of rain right in here. I mentioned it's going to stay very active, and you can see why. Just going out in time further, let's go from tomorrow into Thursday, and you see it almost looks like the same map, right? That's why the flood risk gets even higher near Jamaica, Haiti, and even watching down through Costa Rica and Panama. Now, let's go out in time further and get you into the upcoming weekend, and look how unsettled it stays. Eastern Caribbean, some rounds of rain every now and then pushing in, but there's that rain on Sunday, still in the south central sections of the Caribbean, building back toward Honduras and Nicaragua, and that's where I'll be watching to see if anything does develop. The American model by Tuesday. So we're looking at we're well out in time here. We're looking a week out in time here. Does show a tropical storm trying to develop. Again, that's not likely, but at the least, there's going to be a lot of rain from the Caribbean, kind of pushing into Central America. So you see it here. Now let's flip over. This is the European model showing the areas of rain. Here's Cuba right through here. Here's Jamaica. So we have this batch of rain here near the Turks and Caicos, some heavier rain overnight. I was watching your comments, and then just a lot of rain back through the Caribbean as we work our way forward. So this is today. Let's go out in time further, and you see how the models kind of match, and that's why Tony will be a possibility of forming because all of the models are seeing something down here. But this is by the time we get into Thursday, similar pattern, watching out for a lot in the way of rain, just kind of still around the Caribbean. Here's that active pattern. To the north, there's a front that's going to be working. I'll show you that front in a second over toward the United States for Thanksgiving. Big front passing by, and then still these surges of moisture that come in. So Trinidad up through Dominica, staying active, scattered areas of rain that will give us some isolated areas of flooding as we go forward. So this here is on Thursday. Let's just jump out in time further as we look for some tropical development. And going forward here, this is by the weekend, just kind of zipping through the weekend and then into next week, Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, right there. Here's Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Honduras. Just like the American model, showing a lot of rain. Now, it's not quite showing something spinning up, but that is the spot to watch. If there's going to be a late season tropical system, sometimes you get something well out in the Atlantic, but it's going to be this area here that will, well, not even late season. This is going to be off season. Something in December could develop in the Caribbean, but that is the spot to watch, and the models have been very consistent on that area. And you see the seas that will be building. I'll show you the wide view in just a second. This here, meters here, feet right here on your screen. Things are going to be choppy across the Caribbean. Of course, we have that rain that is around now for a lot of us, and then we'll see if something develops. This is just going out in time through the end of the week. And then look at the Gulf of Mexico, back toward the Atlantic waters off the southeast of the U.S. and the northern Bahamas. Seas will also be building with that big Thanksgiving front moving in, and then choppy across the Caribbean right through the weekend into next week. Those seas are going to be on the elevated side. As promised, here's the big picture. Atlantic region of Canada. We have a front moving by. Here's Bermuda, Bahamas. Again, northern Bahamas drier, southern Bahamas better chance of rain. So we have one front zipping by here, kind of coming out of Maine, snow on the backside of it, coming out of Quebec, moving over toward New Brunswick. We'll see some of that moisture trying to move in for tonight. Watching out for kind of that cold rain tonight into tomorrow. This is our Wednesday. Prince Edward Island over toward Newfoundland, seeing some of that rain that will be around. And then by Thanksgiving, a big front moving in, rain, snow in parts of the mid-Atlantic and New England. And this is that front that will kind of dive down toward the south as we go forward. And it's going to bring in a lot in the way of cold air, zooming down from Canada across the U.S. Big cold air outbreak right behind this front as we get into the weekend and next week. So we've seen these really big fronts that have been moving by, and we've got more of those on the way. Now, as far as the rain totals go, I zoomed down a little bit earlier into Jamaica, still watching out for some higher totals near the Turks and Caicos and southern Bahamas. An additional 100 millimeters of rain or 4 inches of rain will be possible. Could see a few higher totals as well as we get over toward eastern Cuba, western Cuba, central Cuba looking good. East Cuba, that's where we'll have some of the higher totals. In this rain in Jamaica, some of that's going to spill over into Haiti and the Dominican Republic. We talked about that a few moments ago, but you get back through Puerto Rico and then off to the east, just kind of hit or miss. I'll show you that in the forecast in a moment. Rain chance not too high, so total's not too high, but Dominica south, that's where we're going to still run the risk of some flooding right through Trinidad. See some of the purple showing up, 75 millimeters of rain or 3 inches of rain. It's not all of us. It's not one big blob of rain, but at times we get these batches moving in. So Barbados, for example, we could see some isolated downpours over the next few days. Even northern Guyana, northern Suriname, we'll see that chance of some of the rain. Now, of course, still some of those higher totals, Costa Rica, Panama. Here's that blob here, and then eventually some of this kind of shifts over toward the east, or rather west, Honduras near the water, same thing. Nicaragua on the Caribbean side. Some higher totals are possible. Not as much Guatemala and El Salvador, and back to the north, Mexico City. Right up, there's a little glitch in that map, but generally dry conditions, Mexico City, back toward Texas. All right, rain chance 70%. Some of us may get some showers, just kind of overcast skies, but others getting dumped on in Jamaica. So I'll be going through your comments. Now, in the Cayman Islands, and we've been talking about this together, most of the rain is going to stay just off toward the east, but I'll be watching us as we go throughout the day. Trinidad and Tobago, there's the active weather. The next 3 days, not washouts, but a 60 to even 70% chance of rain by tomorrow. And you see the rain chance picking up tomorrow and Thursday in Barbados. Scattered areas of rain. Could see a couple thunderstorms too. And there's that rain chance building. 50% tomorrow in St. Lucia. A 60% chance on Thursday. Rain chance just picking up to a 70% chance on Thursday as we get back through Grenada. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, rain chance each day just kind of gradually growing. By Thursday, we're up to 60% chance and staying active tomorrow and Thursday in Martinique. Rain chance 50%. And we do that again across Dominica, up to a 50% chance of some wet weather once we get toward the end of the week. 40 to 50% chance in Guadeloupe. Now, we get to the north of Guadeloupe, rain chance is not as high. 20-30% chance the next couple of days. Antigua and Barbuda, rain chance only 20%. St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat. So the rain chance on the low side, mainly dry today. Anguilla and St. Bart's by tomorrow, small chance of a shower moving by. Saba over toward Statia, St. Martin, rain chance 20% at best over the next couple of days. Puerto Rico, isolated. Most of the heavier rain is off toward the west as you get over toward the Dominican Republic and Haiti. And the rain chance about 20% U.S. British Virgin Islands. Some beautiful weather that's been around. 30 to 40% across the Bahamas. But again, northern Bahamas drier, southern Bahamas, that's where it's wetter. Watching out for some of that flooding and watching that in the Turks and Caicos today. We have been talking about that, of course, and then eventually later this week, the rain chance will be going down, but a 60 to 70% chance right across the Dominican Republic and over the next 2 days in Haiti, monitoring those rivers, about a 60% chance of some rain. Belize, though, rain chance not super high. We're looking at about a 20% chance, 30 to 40% chance of some scattered showers possible in Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire. Let me know if you do get any. We'll see some that will be around the next 2 days. Best chance of rain the next 3 days would be today in Guyana to the north, closer to the water. Better chance of some rain. Same thing in Suriname, 50% chance today, 30% chance tomorrow. Cuba, eastern sections, that's where we'll see some rain. Elsewhere, we're on the dry side and monitoring still some pockets of flooding. Panama back toward Costa Rica. Nicaragua closer on the Caribbean side. Better chance of rain. Honduras closer to the water. About a 50 to 60% chance of some of that rain. Guatemala, El Salvador, mainly dry conditions and some cooler nights as we get back toward Mexico City. Warm days, but those cooler nights. 10-20% chance of a shower passing by. Merida, Campeche, over toward Cozumel and Cancun. Northern Colombia, rain chance 50% today, monitoring a few areas of flooding. And a 30 to 40% chance in northern Venezuela. We work our way back toward Bermuda. Could see a couple showers around for today, then mainly dry tomorrow. So the areas of flooding all week long, even right into the weekend. The active pattern is going to be right into December. Sometimes we get this, and it is going to stay very active. And I'll monitor for that possibility of Tropical Storm Tony forming. But either way, even if that doesn't get a name, we have that big area of rain that's going to kind of be drifting through the Caribbean. So we'll cover that together as we go throughout the rest of the week. I hope you are doing well. Be safe if you're dealing with any of the flooding. I'll be watching your comments throughout the day. Have a good rest of your day.